As we cross the threshold of our seventh decade, time takes on a new significance. Each passing year becomes more precious, each moment more valuable. At this stage of life, many of us begin to wonder how many more years we might have ahead, and, more importantly, what the quality of those years might be. The truth is that aging isn't uniform. While some individuals in their 70s maintain remarkable vitality, others experience noticeable decline. This disparity isn't merely chance, it reflects specific patterns and indicators that scientists have identified as reliable predictors of longevity. These indicators aren't just abstract measurements, they're observable characteristics that anyone can recognize in themselves or their loved ones. In this comprehensive guide, we'll explore 7 evidence-based signs that can offer insights into your potential longevity after 70. More importantly, we'll discuss how each of these factors can be improved, giving you practical strategies to enhance not just the length, but the quality of your later years. There's profound truth in the simplicity of how we move through the world. Research has consistently shown that walking speed serves as one of the most reliable predictors of longevity in older adults. This seemingly basic measurement integrates multiple bodily systems: cardiovascular health, muscular strength, neurological function, and overall vitality into a single observable behavior. Consider 2 75-year-olds, Michael and James. Michael maintains a brisk, confident stride. He walks with purpose, rarely needing to pause during his daily routines. His movements remain fluid and coordinated. James, meanwhile, has noticeably slowed in recent years. He moves cautiously, often stopping to rest, and sometimes appears tentative when navigating uneven surfaces. This difference in walking speed reflects far more than just physical preference. Michael's maintained pace suggests that his cardiovascular system continues to efficiently deliver oxygen throughout his body, his muscles retain sufficient strength for mobility, and his neurological system effectively coordinates complex movements. James's slowing pace may indicate underlying cardiovascular issues, muscular deterioration, or neurological changes that could impact his longevity. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that older adults who walked at speeds exceeding 3.3 feet per second, about 2.25 miles per hour, had a significantly higher probability of reaching their 90th birthday compared to slower walkers. This correlation remained strong even after accounting for other health factors. The encouraging news is that walking speed can be improved at any age. Regular walking practice, strength training focused on the lower body, and balance exercises can help restore or maintain a healthy pace. Even small improvements, increasing your speed by just 0.1 meters per second, can translate to measurable gains in longevity prospects. Start by establishing your baseline. Time yourself walking a measured distance at your normal pace. Then, gradually work toward increasing that speed through consistent practice. Remember, the goal isn't to race through life but to maintain the physical capacity for steady, purposeful movement. The strength in your hands speaks volumes about your overall physical condition. Grip strength has emerged as a surprisingly powerful biomarker, one that correlates strongly with general muscle mass, cardiovascular health, and mortality risk. This connection makes intuitive sense when we consider that grip strength represents not just hand muscles but reflects the body's overall muscle status. Since muscle mass naturally declines with age, a condition known as sarcopenia, maintaining strong hands suggests you're effectively preserving total body strength. Consider Eleanor and Patricia, both 78 years old. Eleanor still opens jars without assistance, carries grocery bags with ease, and maintains a firm handshake. Patricia increasingly relies on tools to open containers, divides shopping into lighter loads, and has noticed her handshake becoming progressively weaker. Research published in The Lancet found that grip strength was a better predictor of cardiovascular, mortality than systolic blood pressure, a traditionally emphasized risk factor. For every 5 kilogram decrease in grip strength, researchers observed a 16% increased risk of all-cause mortality. The physiological explanation involves more than just muscles. Strong grip correlates with adequate protein synthesis, healthy hormone levels, effective neurological signaling, and good cardiovascular function, all systems that contribute to longevity. Fortunately, grip strength responds well to targeted exercise even in advanced age. Simple activities like squeezing a stress ball, using hand grippers, practicing finger extensions with rubber bands, and performing wrist curls with light weights can significantly improve hand strength. More comprehensive approaches that include general strength training further enhance these benefits. Regularly test your grip strength. If you notice declining ability to hold objects, open containers, or perform tasks requiring hand strength, prioritize exercises that target this important indicator. Few attributes so clearly signal vitality in aging as the ability to maintain balance. This seemingly simple skill integrates multiple bodily systems: vision, inner ear function, proprioception, muscle strength, and neurological processing into a single observable capability. Research has identified a particularly telling metric: the ability to stand on one leg for at least 10 seconds. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that inability to complete this task in older adults was associated with nearly twice the risk of death from any cause within the following decade. The implications extend beyond fall prevention, though that alone would justify focusing on balance. Good balance indicates neurological health, efficient brain-body communication, and preserved muscle activation patterns, all factors that contribute to overall resilience and longevity. Consider Thomas and William, both 73. Thomas can easily stand on one leg while putting on socks or shoes, rarely feels unsteady, and moves confidently through his environment. William increasingly sits while dressing, sometimes feels momentarily disoriented when changing positions, and occasionally needs support when walking on uneven surfaces. These differences reflect underlying physiological realities that can impact life expectancy. The good news is that balance responds remarkably well to targeted practice. Simple exercises like standing on one foot while holding a counter, heel-to-toe walking, as if on a tightrope, and gentle yoga or Tai Chi practice can dramatically improve balance capabilities. The vestibular system, inner ear, proprioception, body position awareness, and visual systems all contribute to balance, and each can be trained. Consistent practice creates neural adaptations that enhance stability even in advancing age. Begin with a simple self-assessment. Time. How long you can stand on each foot without support or excessive wobbling. If you struggle to maintain this, position for 10 seconds. Prioritize balance exercises as part of your daily routine. Improvements often appear within weeks of regular practice. The quality and pattern of your sleep may be one of the most overlooked factors influencing longevity. After 70, during sleep, particularly deep slow-wave sleep, your body performs critical maintenance functions: cellular repair, memory consolidation, immune system regulation, and clearance of metabolic waste from the brain via the glymphatic system. Research has found striking connections between sleep quality and longevity. A study in the journal Sleep Medicine revealed that older adults with fragmented sleep patterns faced a 27% higher mortality risk compared to those who maintained more consistent sleep architecture. Consider Martha and Ruth, both 76. Martha maintains regular sleep habits, falling asleep around the same time each night and sleeping continuously for 7-8 hours. She wakes feeling refreshed and maintains good energy throughout the day. Ruth experiences frequent nighttime awakenings, sometimes lies awake for hours, and often feels unrested despite spending adequate time in bed. These differences reflect underlying physiological processes with direct implications for longevity. Poor sleep quality correlates with increased inflammation, compromised immune function, elevated stress hormones, and inadequate cellular repair, all factors that accelerate aging and increase disease vulnerability. Sleep patterns naturally change with age, but significant disruption isn't inevitable. Practices that promote good sleep hygiene can substantially improve sleep quality even for long-term insomniacs. These include maintaining consistent sleep-wake schedules, limiting evening screen exposure, which suppresses melatonin production, creating comfortable sleep environments, moderating caffeine and alcohol, and engaging in regular physical activity. For those experiencing specific sleep disorders like sleep apnea, appropriate medical intervention can dramatically improve both sleep quality and longevity prospects. If you frequently wake unrefreshed, experience excessive daytime sleepiness, or have been told you snore or stop breathing during sleep, consult a healthcare provider about potential sleep disorders. How you eat after 70 profoundly influences your remaining lifespan. Both appetite maintenance and dietary quality serve as windows into underlying physiological function and future health outcomes. A concerning sign often overlooked in older adults is unintentional weight loss or diminished appetite. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that unplanned weight loss in older adults predicted increased mortality risk, independent of starting weight. This connection exists because appetite decline often signals underlying inflammatory processes, digestive inefficiency, hormonal imbalances, or early cognitive changes. Consider Robert and George, both 72. Robert maintains consistent eating patterns, enjoys meals, and preserves stable weight. He consumes varied, nutrient-dense foods and rarely skips eating opportunities. George has increasingly forgotten meals, feels full after small portions, and has lost weight without trying. He gravitates toward simple processed foods requiring minimal preparation. These differences reflect physiological realities with direct longevity implications. Nutritional sufficiency supports immune function, tissue repair, neurological health, and metabolic efficiency, all essential for extending healthy lifespan. Addressing appetite and nutritional challenges requires multifaceted approaches. 4. Diminished appetite. Strategies include eating smaller, more frequent meals, enhancing food palatability with herbs and spices rather than salt, timing meals when appetite naturally peaks, and creating social eating opportunities, which typically increase consumption. Nutritional quality remains equally important, emphasizing protein intake, which older adults often underconsume, consuming adequate fiber, prioritizing nutrient-dense foods, and staying well hydrated all contribute to physiological resilience and longevity potential. If you notice changes in appetite, unexplained weight loss, or diminished enjoyment of eating, consider consulting both healthcare providers and nutritional specialists. These experts can identify underlying causes and develop targeted interventions to maintain nutritional adequacy. How you respond to life's challenges after 70 significantly impacts how many additional years you'll enjoy. Chronic stress accelerates biological aging through multiple pathways. Increased inflammation, compromised immune function, telomere shortening, and elevated cortisol levels that damage tissues throughout the body. Research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that older adults who demonstrated psychological resilience, the ability to bounce back from stressful events, showed slower cellular aging markers compared to those who remained physiologically activated by stressors long after the triggering events had passed. Consider David and Richard, both 75. When facing challenges, David acknowledges difficulties but maintains perspective, employs effective coping strategies, and returns relatively quickly to emotional equilibrium. Richard tends to ruminate on problems, catastrophizes potential outcomes, and remains physiologically aroused long after stressful events conclude. These different stress response patterns create divergent biological environments within the body. David's resilience allows his systems to return to balanced functioning, minimizing the damage from stress hormones. Richard's prolonged stress responses create a physiological environment favorable to disease development and accelerated aging. The connection between stress and longevity involves complex interactions between psychological experience and physical processes. Chronic stress increases inflammatory cytokines, disrupts glucose metabolism, elevates blood pressure, impairs sleep quality, and compromises immune surveillance, all factors that can reduce longevity potential. Fortunately, resilience can be developed at any age. Evidence-based approaches include mindfulness meditation, which reduces rumination and physiological reactivity, regular physical activity, which metabolizes stress hormones, social connection, which buffers stress effects, cognitive reframing, techniques, and structured problem-solving approaches. If you find yourself frequently overwhelmed, experiencing persistent worry, or physically reacting to stress through symptoms like tension, digestive issues, or sleep disruption, prioritize developing stress management skills. The physiological benefits of improved stress resilience translate directly to enhanced longevity potential. Perhaps no factor influencing longevity after 70 has received more consistent scientific support than social connection. Multiple studies across diverse populations have confirmed that social integration, having meaningful relationships and regular interpersonal contact, significantly predicts survival in older adults. A particularly compelling meta-analysis published in PLOS Medicine found that strong social connections increased odds of survival by 50% across age groups. This effect size rivals the impact of well-established health risk factors like smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. Consider Helen and Margaret, both 77. Helen maintains regular contact with family and friends, participates in community activities, and engages in meaningful conversation several times weekly. Margaret has become increasingly isolated, rarely initiates social contact, and goes days without substantive interaction with others. These differences create divergent biological environments. Helen's social integration supports positive neuroendocrine patterns, enhances immune function, reduces inflammatory markers, and provides practical assistance during health challenges. Margaret's isolation creates physiological stress, reduces cognitive stimulation, eliminates sources of practical support, and diminishes motivation for health-promoting behaviors. The mechanisms linking social connection to longevity are both psychological and physiological. Socially integrated older adults typically exhibit lower levels of inflammatory cytokines, more regulated cardiovascular function, better neuroendocrine profiles, enhanced immune responsiveness, and more preserved cognitive function, all factors contributing to extended lifespan. Creating or strengthening social connections remains possible at any age, though it often requires intentional effort in later life when natural social networks may contract. Effective strategies include scheduling regular contact with existing connections, pursuing interest-based activities that naturally generate social opportunities, volunteering, which combines purpose with connection, and utilizing technology to maintain distant relationships. If your social circle has contracted or you recognize increasing isolation patterns, prioritize rebuilding connection. Even modest improvements in social integration translate to measurable gains in longevity potential. These 7 indicators – walking speed, grip strength, balance capability, sleep quality, nutritional patterns, stress resilience, and social connection – don't exist in isolation. They interact in complex ways, often reinforcing one another in virtuous or vicious cycles. For example, improved physical capabilities. Walking, grip strength, balance typically enhance sleep quality, which further supports physical function. Better stress management improves appetite regulation and nutritional intake, which provides energy for social engagement. This interconnectedness means that improvements in one area often yield benefits across multiple indicators. Creating your personal longevity strategy begins with honest assessment. Where do you currently stand regarding each indicator? Which areas show concerning patterns? Where might targeted efforts yield the greatest overall benefit? For many individuals, focusing initially on physical function, particularly walking speed and balance, creates a foundation for broader improvements. Regular physical activity enhances sleep quality, reduces stress reactivity, and often creates social opportunities, addressing multiple longevity factors simultaneously. Others might benefit most from prioritizing stress management or social reconnection, particularly if these areas show significant deficits. The optimal approach depends on your specific circumstances, preferences, and capacity. Remember that small, consistent improvements yield significant results over time. Increasing walking speed slightly, adding one strength training session weekly, incorporating brief balance practice into daily routines, improving one aspect of sleep hygiene, making targeted nutritional enhancements, learning one stress management technique, or adding a single regular social connection, each represents meaningful progress toward extended healthy longevity. Understanding these 7 longevity indicators offers more than prediction. It provides empowerment. While genetics certainly influence lifespan, research increasingly demonstrates that lifestyle factors and behaviors significantly determine how genetic predispositions express themselves. The indicators we've explored aren't merely passive measures but active intervention targets. Each represents biological systems that remain plastic, capable of improvement even in advanced age. This neurobiological and physiological adaptability means that deliberate, consistent efforts to enhance these indicators can meaningfully extend not just lifespan but health span, the period of active, independent living. As you reflect on these longevity predictors, remember that their ultimate value lies not in the additional years they might provide, but in the quality of life they help preserve. The goal isn't simply living longer but maintaining the physical capacity, mental clarity, emotional well-being, and social engagement that make those years worth living. Your future isn't predetermined by your age, genetics, or past habits. The choices you make today, how you move, what you eat, how you manage stress, how you connect with others, how you care for your physical capabilities, shape your physiological reality and longevity potential. Through informed, intentional choices, targeting these 7 indicators, you gain significant influence over both the quantity and quality of your remaining years.